Hello students, once again in the second part of your history of ninth class, and me, your teacher, Francis Paul sir. Let's begin the second part of chapter 2, the Vedic age or the Vedic period. Yesterday we learned about Vedas, Samveda, Yajurveda, all about Vedas, and some other books we have. And then I asked you to prepare or to come to know about Ramayana and Mahabharata. You should have, I hope that you might have asked your parents, or you could have come to know, get the information about Mahabharata and Ramayana. Then we read about the poetry and the Iron Age, and also the origin of the Aryans. Now we'll study the settlements. That is, the first, they began the settlement near Afghanistan Valley, Kabul River, and Punjab. And altogether it was known as the Sapt Sindhu or Sindhu. There were 7 rivers: Indus, Ravi, Byas, Satluj, Jhelum, Chenab, Saraswati. And later they settled Uttar Pradesh, and it was called Brahmavarta, land of the gods, because the region provided condition for stable agriculture. You can see the map here. First settlement and then second one. So that was their settlement. Now we'll study the society. Social organization begin from the family. The family was the fundamental unit of the society, and it was patriarchal. The father was the head of the family. He was called Grahapati or Kulpati. Several families lived in a grama or village. The head of the village was called Gramani. The kings governed with the help of ministers and Prohit and Senani. The king did not maintain any regular army. However, in times of war, he used to organize tribal groups. Okay? But in the later Vedic age, kingship became hereditary and divine elements. Divine element means king was considered as the shadow of God. The period began the beginning of taxation system and administrative machinery. Taxes were collected. In the early age, it was not that much. But in the later Vedic period, the political authority became rigid. There was proper kingship, and it was hereditary. That means father sons used to inherit the throne of the king. And administration also became rigid or strict. What was the position of women? In the early Vedic period, the daughters were given freedom to choose their husbands. The system of remarriage of widows were prevalent. But in the later Vedic period, there was a significant decline in the status of women. Their participation in yajna was not considered necessary. Okay? Now, what was the class division? Caste system did not prevail in the in the early Vedic period. I have already told you about the early and later Vedic period in the introduction. So caste system did not prevail, but some kind of suppression was there. Now suppose Ram is a carpenter. Automatically his son will learn the work of carpentry. He won't go out to learn something else. So all 5 to 6 or 10 children will learn carpentry. So in that way, the occupation became hereditary. This resulted in social inequality, and the tribal society got divided into three groups: warriors, priests, and the people. Fourth division, called Shudra, appeared towards the end of Rigvedic period because of the word Shudra is mentioned for the first time in 10th mandala of Rigveda. Then people followed different professions which became hereditary in course of time. This resulted in the division of society into occupational classes called Varna system. It was not a caste system, it was a Varna system. And this Varna system, that means society was divided according to the occupation. So it was not rigid. But later on, in the later Vedic period, it became a rigid when Manu Smriti Manu made some rules for the society. So, Brahmins or the priests performed religious rituals, Kshatriya participated. This is an important paragraph. Brahmins or the priests performed rituals, Kshatriya participated in war, Vaishyas engaged in business and looked after agriculture as well as industry, and the Shudras served the upper classes. Okay? So, both Brahmins and the Kshatriya enjoyed many privileges, like in Europe, in the medieval period. The higher states enjoyed privileges. But we cannot compare with the class system of Europe, our caste system. Our caste system was rigid. Nobody could change his or her caste. But in Europe, they could change according to their ability. Now we have 4 ashramas. So 4 ashrama, that means man has to go through this 4 ashrama if he wants to attain salvation. That is a brahmacharya, grihastha ashrama, vanaprastha and sannyasa. What is a brahmacharya ashrama? Lasted up to age of 25 years. That means a man from 1 to 25 years age, he has to lead a brahmachari life, should not marry. And his duty is to study, get the education, knowledge from Guru. Then, second one is grihastha ashrama, family life. Then a man can, at the age of 25, can marry and raise a family, bear children. And then this ashrama is 25 to 50 years. Then at the age of 50, it is a vanaprastha ashrama. A man should leave his family and go to expected to retire from worldly life and go to forest for tapasya. And the last one, 75 to 100, it is a sannyasa ashrama. You can see the picture. So man had to leave everything forever and go into meditation and attain moksha or salvation. Education. Education was imparted through private gurukuls. The residence of the Guru, called Gurukul, meaning the family of Guru, had become the most sacred institution. Most of the teaching was done orally. At the completion of the education, a student used to give Guru Dakshina. You know the example of Ekalavya, a gift to his teacher. The Gurus were greatly respected and revered. The main object of education was to bring about physical, mental, and spiritual development of the people. Now, let us discuss about food and dress and amusement. Barley, wheat, rice. Barley was known in the first early Vedic period, but wheat and rice were unknown. Cows were domesticated, and milk products like curd, butter, ghee, etc. were used. Clothes worn were simple. They consisted of undergarment called nimi or dhoti, upper piece called vasa or shirt. Men wore turban. Ornaments were worn by both men and women. The main means of amusement in both the Vedic periods were chariot races, horse races, dancing, singing, hunting. Music instruments also were available. Religious belief. So religious beliefs, Vedic age worshipped forces of nature. They personified these natural forces and looked upon them as living beings. So the most important among these gods were Indra. The second position is held by Agni, the fire god. The third position is occupied by Varuna, the god of waters. There were many other Vedic gods like Vayu, the god of wind, Surya, Yama, the lord of dead, Rudra, god of storms. Some goddesses were also worshipped, like Prithvi, Aditi, and so on. Sacrifice rituals and sacrifice became daily routine. The poor people offered simple and cheap sacrifices like milk with milk, ghee, grains, and fruits were offered. The rich people had businessmen conducted bigger sacrifices. The Brahmins were responsible for bringing about many innovations and evolving new doctrines, teaching. It is Brahmins who made new rules for the people. And more emphasis was laid on penance called tapasya, karma, dharma, duty, moksha, salvation, rebirth. So these such doctrines or terms came forward in this period. Rigvedic economy was primarily pastoral. For Aryans, cattle was synonymous with wealth. Agriculture activities find very few references in Vedas. No other grains are mentioned other than barley. Major changes in the economy took place during later Vedic phase. Importance of agriculture grew during this phase. The growth of agriculture in the later Vedic period was made possibly by availability of vast tracts of fertile land near Ganga, Yamuna, Doab. Then some of the occupation were found like craftsmen, leather workers, blacksmith, potters, carpenters, domestic craft, weaving, and so on. During the later Vedic phase, agricultural surplus led to trade, giving rise to markets from which developed towns and cities. And thus trade became the pivot or the center around which the whole town and city life moved. Occupation. Beside agriculture, trade, other important occupations included domestication of animals, crafts in various metals, and so on. So here we have differences in the early Vedic period. What we have already studied. Differences between early Vedic period and later Vedic period. Just it has been summarized. So you just go through. Now, your question answers. Why was the early Vedic literature known as a Shruti? It is on page 16. Name the 4 Vedas and state what the hymns in each Veda deal with. It is on page 16 and 17. What are the Upanishads? Page 17, first line. What are the Dharma Shastras? Page 17, just first line. Name the epics written during the later Vedic period. Ramayana and Mahabharata. What is known as the Bhagavad Gita? Again, page 18. You can just read and squeeze your own. Make your own. Mention the importance of the epics as a source of information about the Aryans. Page 18. So, importance have been given. Which battle is known as the Mahabharata? Page 19. A battle between Kaurava and Pandavas is known as the Mahabharata. Give 2 features of painted grey ware pottery on page 20. I have told you when I was explaining, just important lines I have explained. What are known as the Varna Ashrama? Varna Ashrama means caste system. That 4 caste is known as a Varna Ashrama. And you have to name them. Brahmins, Kshatriya, Vaishyas and Shudra. How did the trade become a pivot around which the life of the people revolved? Page 26, last paragraph, second last paragraph, page 26. State the difference in the position of women between the early Vedic and later Vedic age. That there is a paragraph, you can just write 1 or 2 points, 2 features. Name the 4 ashramas into which the human lifespan was divided. So it is a brahmacharya, then grahastha ashrama, vanaprastha and sannyasa. And indicate the time also, that you can go through your book and indicate the time. State briefly the change that occurred in the position of women. These 2 answers you can find on page 27. Okay, differences early Vedic age and later Vedic age. That's all from your chapter 2. So learn properly, go through properly, and go through the long answers. Go through the structure type questions and find your own answers. If you have any doubt, you can call me through phone call or WhatsApp. That's all. Bye bye.